Hello YouTube and welcome to my first part of my mini-series, which is the Q&A series. I announced that I was going to do the Q&A a month ago, and I've literally only just got round to doing it because I just felt because there are so many questions I've got to ask. I had no idea how I was going to do this, how the structure was going to be. When a good friend, YouTube friend, PurtlySmith11 suggested that I do it in parts, so I answer the first part of Doctor Who questions, and the other part will just be general questions, really. So the first part is probably the part that people are most interested in, and of course it's the Doctor Who questions, which this channel is about. Really, this channel is about Doctor Who, as you can probably tell from my bedroom. I am quite a fan of it. So we'll start off with the Kermit Creation asks, if you had to remake one of your favourite Doctor Who episodes, which would it be? I don't know really. I'd say I think it would be really cool if they could do like a parting Evil of the Daleks story, but with that passing of the ways feel. So I'd imagine if, I don't know, Evil of the Daleks was the finale for Christopher Eccleston's series. I think that would be really, really good, because we would still have the Dalek Emperor. I'm not saying we should swap them around, I'm just saying that would be really cool. I think a really good remake. So yeah, that's what I think, would be really good, if the way they could remake Evil of the Daleks. I think that would be brilliant. It's just like another anniversary special or something, I don't know. Tom Dix asks, if you could pick one classic Doctor Who story to be remade in a modern era, which one would you want it to be? That's sort of the same question as Kermit's, but if I had to choose another one, maybe Death to the Daleks. I could see the new series doing something like that, because I quite like Death to the Daleks as a story. I think it's one of the underrated Dalek stories, but I quite like it, to be honest. If you could pick, Tom Dix also asks, if you could pick one modern story to be remade into classic Who, which one would it be, and why? I don't know. For some reason, I don't know why this is, I could see The Beast Below being a First Doctor story. I have no idea why. I just have that weird sort of, I can imagine it being a First Doctor story. I don't really like The Beast Below, but I can see it being a First Doctor story because I think they would have done a good job of making that episode because of the concept and stuff. But although that story might be a bit out of place because of the whole Starship UK thing. So maybe in the Colin Baker era, perhaps, or Sylvester McCoy era. In season 24, I can definitely see The Beast Below being a story in that season. But yeah, I don't know why I chose The Beast Below. It was the first episode that came into my head. So yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. JR Com Reviews. He asks, what is your first memory of watching Doctor Who? I just remember being introduced to this show, not by anyone, just by choice. I decided to watch this, or I think actually no. I think my mum was about to watch it because she's not really like a massive fan. It was just on at the time, and I watched the first episode of Rose, and I just remember being completely hooked by this new show. Well, it's not really new, but the new series was new at the time, and I just remember being hooked from the very beginning, and I really loved every minute of it. I thought it was fantastic, and I watched the whole of Series 1, and from that point I became a fan of that show, and then I started to collect and become a Whovian about 2011, rough that time. That's when I started getting into the classic series a lot more, and just exploring new areas of the Doctor Who universe, really, and the merchandise and stuff. So that was really good. Doctor Who guy asks, what do you prefer, Daleks or Cybermen? Daleks preferably, because I just love those pepper pot monsters. I know a lot of people prefer the Cybermen because of their origins or just their general appearance. Well, I'm not too sure. I think it's the origins that interest people the most about the Cybermen. But yeah, I love the Daleks. I love, I love a lot of the Dalek stories, and I do like a lot of the Cybermen stories, but Dalek stories to me, I just love. I love it every time I see the Daleks, although, yeah, I don't really like the Paradigm Daleks, to be honest. They are not really the best sort of creation, and I'm glad that the BBC have finally sort of stopped using them, which makes Victory of the Daleks completely pointless. It was a very pointless episode, now, anyway. Doctor Who Tube, he has 4 questions to ask. The first one is, what was the first episode you ever watched, first new and classic? The first new Who episode was Rose. The first classic episode, what was it? First classic. Oh yeah, Genesis of the Daleks. Or it might have been Day of the Daleks, because I borrowed that off a friend. So I can't remember if that was before Genesis. But it is either Genesis or Day of the Daleks. I watched as first classic, and Rose was the new first episode I watched. Top 3 companions. What are they? Well, Deborah Watling is first. Victoria Waterfield is first. I've done a video about her. I really like Fraser Hines. I think he's a brilliant companion. Ace, I quite like. I don't know. They're all great, really. People have their own different views on them. I like Rory. He's quite a good companion. I don't know. I think they might be my top 3, really. There are so many other ones that I could choose. I mean, I like Sarah Jane Smith. I like Harry Sullivan. I like Leela. It's Joe Grant. I like Joe Grant. There are so many ones that I can't possibly choose in top 3 for. Worst 3. Okay, Dodo is a really badly written companion, I feel. Sarah Kingdom, apparently she's classed as a companion, but I haven't seen her, so I'm just going to put her in my worst 3 because just to fill the gap. I don't really like Liz Shaw. Rose was pretty annoying, to be honest. I don't know, really. Mel was worse than Rose, I think. But yeah. Top 3 and worst monsters and villains. Okay, I think the Zarbi are my worst. The cheetah people from Survival, I think they're villains. I'm not too sure. And the other one is probably, I don't know. The Sensorites look pretty bad monsters, but I haven't seen that story, so I'm not going to include them. I can't remember. I'm not too sure, really. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Top 3, the Daleks, the Zygons, and the Ice Warriors I quite like, and the Yeti I also love, because I love their stories. And Danny Brown asks, have you met Matt Smith or Jenna Coleman? No, I haven't met Matt Smith or Jenna Coleman yet. I hope to meet them one day, because that'd be quite good. Now, the Geek's Handbag asks, which monster or villain from the classic series would you like to see return in the new series? That's quite a good question. I would like the Yeti to make a return. Even though we had the Great Intelligence, I would like to see another Yeti story again. I think that would be great. I don't know, really. Maybe another Zygon story would be good. I know we had them in the 50th, but their story wasn't really complete there. It sort of was left unfinished, to be honest. I think they could possibly finish it off in a book or something. Yeah, although I quite like the Pterodactyls. I could see the new series redesigning them. But yeah, I can't really remember, to be honest. The Gargantuan apple, I think that's how you pronounce it. What do you think is the worst Doctor Who story? I don't really like the Web Planet. I know there are people out there who quite like the story, but I don't. I think it drags a lot. But then again, you've got episodes like The Beast Below. I didn't like that. You've got The Curse of the Black Spot. That's pretty dreadful. I don't know why people hate New Earth. I quite like New Earth, to be honest, but I don't see why people hate it so much. But I wouldn't class that as a bad episode. But yeah, I think The Beast Below and The Curse of the Black Spot were both fairly terrible, to be honest. Do you think Capaldi would be good or bad? Who Toys asks this question. I think Capaldi will be amazing. Judging by the trailer, he looks really, really good. If you haven't seen the trailer, I'm sure most of you have. You should watch that trailer. It's amazing. Capaldi looks really good in it. I honestly can't wait for his series. It's in August, so it's still a while to wait, but it's going to be fantastic. It'll be worth the wait. And there are people who are going to be watching it before us because obviously they'll be going to the premiere. So yeah, lucky them. Rock and Metal for Eva asks, if you could have a missing episode recovered, which one would it be? Most of you will know this. It'll be, of course, Evil of the Daleks. I'm quite literally obsessed with that story. I would like to see Power of the Daleks because that's another fan favourite, I believe. I've also listened to the audio of that, and it's really good. And I've read the book, which is also good. TJ Productions asks, Doctor Who question, if all classic stories were to be destroyed, which 3 would you save? The Aztecs I would save, Remembrance of the Daleks I love, and Terror of the Zygons I would also keep. I'm just going to do a quick jump cut because I'm sort of running out of time, so I'll be back sort of in a few seconds. So yeah, let's continue. TJ Productions said, which one of the 3 would you save? And I would save the Aztecs I like, Remembrance of the Daleks, and Terror of the Zygons I also like. And I'll have to put Evil of the Daleks in there, but I'm not too sure where. That is a really hard question, and I hope that never actually happens. And Trackling asks, when did you start watching Doctor Who? When the first episode of the new series broadcasted, which was, I think it was March 2000. Yeah, it was in 2005, but I think it was March time. I think that was when the first episode got broadcasted. Adam the Ultimate Whovian asks, next Doctor Who guest you would want to meet? I really want to meet Fraser Hines, even though I've already got his autograph. I would still really like to meet him because I think he's one of the best companions out there. David Tennant I would quite like to meet, but I'm guessing that's probably unlikely because he doesn't really go to conventions, unfortunately, because he's probably a really busy actor. I don't know, Noel Clarke I would like to meet. Hopefully he will stay for Cardiff Comic Con. Well, I would also like to meet John Hurt. I would quite like to meet John Hurt. Peter Davison, Tom Baker. There's loads really. Peter Capaldi, obviously. I'd love to meet him one day. But yeah, Robert Lithgow asks, who do you think is the best Doctor Who writer and who do you think is the worst? The best, I would say Robert Holmes or David Whittaker. I really like those two. Russell T Davies was quite good, but not as good as some of the classic writers, because let's face it, the classic writers wrote so much, way more better stories than the new series could ever write, in my view. That's just my view, I'm sure you would disagree. But yeah, Robert Holmes is a fantastic writer. He's one of the best Doctor Who writers, and he's written some of the best stories that the show has to offer, like such classics as Talons of Weng-Chiang, The Genesis of the Daleks. There's loads of others that he's written. The Caves of Androzani, I'm sure many of you would be familiar with that. He's written loads. He's written an awful lot. And Kibo the Geek, I think that's Kieran McCady there. How did you get interested in Doctor Who? Well, like I said earlier, my mum sort of told me that this new show was going to start in a few minutes, so I went downstairs and I sort of sat with her and watched it, and yeah, it really interested me. It was sort of a new Doctor Who has sort of changed my life quite a bit. Looking at my morals and views and things. But yeah, I think the whole concept of the show really fascinated me. I was really fascinated by this character, the Doctor, and the series sort of got me hooked. I was really looking forward to future episodes, and I still love it to this day, as you can probably tell. Okay, Jonathan McGurk asks, what was your first Doctor Who episode? Like I said before, the first one I ever watched was Rose, and I do like Rose a lot, actually. I think it's a good episode. And I think that concludes my Q&A part 1 video. Yeah, sorry for the long wait of this video. I'll do the non-Doctor Who questions probably later, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, because I quite enjoyed doing this, actually. I'm sort of glad that I've managed to get round to doing it now. I know that I said I was going to announce the video not long after I made the announcement, but now that I've finally got round to doing it, I'm quite glad now, because otherwise it would have just been a video that never was. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Please like the video, comment if you've got any more non-Doctor Who questions to ask. So yeah, that was probably quite a long video, I should imagine. So yeah, I'll see you next time for my non-Doctor Who question video, where I will be answering all of your general questions that you have commented on my previous announcement video. So thanks for watching, and yeah, thanks for all your questions. I hope this video has been useful to you, and I shall see you very soon.